Hey guys. Okay, I know everyone's going to be hungry, so I will try to get through this and get you out on time. So, there are so many great signs throughout Oklahoma in various stages of condition. Oh, sorry, I guess I need to talk into this thing. And anyway, so we're going to talk about some of the great signs in Oklahoma, not just on Route 66, but throughout the state. And I'm going to just briefly give a little history of either the sign or the company or both, and we'll go from there. So this starting off is the Roundup Cleaners sign. It's in Oklahoma City on Penn, and it's all original, still lights up at night, and is really cute. So, oh wait, now how do I, yikes, what did I do? The arrows. Now you're expecting me to see. Okay. There we go. Okay, so we're going to talk about a few restaurants first. The first up here, the green sign, the Hamburger Inn, is in Ardmore, Oklahoma. And it was, the eatery opened in 1938 and moved into a really tiny little 50s building with a couple of booths and a lunch counter, and the sign is from that time as well. It is in excellent condition, still lights up at night, and the burgers there are pretty good too. The Isle of Capri is the middle sign. It's in Krebs, Oklahoma. And Krebs, if you don't know it, is called the Little Italy of Oklahoma. There are several really fantastic Italian restaurants there, and more than one sign, and this town is a real blip, so it's got a couple of really good signs there. The Isle of Capri was started by a man named Dominic Giacomo. He opened it on Mother's Day in 1950, and he named it the Isle of Capri because during World War II, he was in the Navy, and his ship went around the Isle of Capri, and he thought that was a really romantic name and thought he'd keep it. The restaurant itself is built into, he built kind of a big house for the restaurant because he thought, well, if the restaurant goes under, he can live in the house, and luckily he never had to do that, and the restaurant has been in continuous operation since 1950. So you definitely want to go there. It's really good. Happy Burger is in Sapulpa, and Bob, I'm going to butcher his name like everyone butchers mine, Bosny. He opened it originally, it's on along Route 66 as a Tasty Freeze franchise. It opened in 1957, but by the 1960s he was kind of tired of paying the franchising fees, so he renamed it Happy Burger, and it has been that ever since. And they are really well known for their peanut butter shakes, so if you like peanut butter, that's where you want to go. Okay, this is the Beard Motor Company and the Chrysler Plymouth sign in Bristow. This one is along Route 66. It was built by a guy named Hubert Red Beard and his partner Watt Henry. They decided to open a car dealership and mechanics area in Bristow to take advantage of all of the Route 66 traffic that went back and forth. Beard, he designed the streamlined modern building, and it opened in 1947. 2 years later, he had the sign constructed. It is 2 blocks off of Route 66, so he wanted something very tall that could be seen by passersby along the Mother Road, and this sure fits the bill. It's very tall and can be seen from much further away than 2 blocks. So let's see, in 1953, Turner Turnpike opened, and the same year, Red Beard died in an airplane accident. He was a pilot and crashed in Colorado. So his partner, Watt, figured that the Turner Turnpike would take business away from the dealership anyway, so he went ahead and closed it down. It became a bowling alley for a decade, and then an oil company moved in and did some restoration to the building, and the building and the sign were added to the National Register in 2004. It's in original condition. It doesn't light up or anything like that, but it's well worth taking a look at. It's a very photogenic sign. And I love a good rusty, crusty sign. And we have 2 great examples in cash. which is on the way out to Lawton. So we'll start with the Eagle Park sign, which is the one on your right. Eagle Park was an amusement park in Cache. Originally, there was a amusement park called Craterville near Fort Sill and Lawton. But the base needed that land and closed down the amusement park. And so, let's see, I gotta find his name. Herb and Cora Wozner thought that another amusement park needed to be built, so they built Eagle Park on the outskirts of Cache. They also acquired the house of Quanah Parker, and they placed it on the amusement park grounds. And over the years, Herb acquired 22 buildings to put on his land where the amusement park was. And they people came and toured them. They were turn of the century, before statehood places, and he had them all carted to this land here. Movies were filmed on site here. There were Old West days, chili cook-offs. It was a very popular place, and they had all kinds of rides. They had the roller coaster was called the Mighty Mouse, and no, the Wild Mouse, sorry about that. I was thinking Mighty Mouse, but that's not right. So anyway, by 1985, the Woosners closed down Eagle Park because they could no longer afford the insurance premiums. And ever since then, it's deteriorated. The Quanah Parker House is still open, and the Trading Post, which is this first sign, is also open. And if you ever want to tour the Quanah Parker House, you have to go into the Trading Post, which is it's a hoarder's wet dream, excuse me, and you can sign up for a tour of the house there. But the house is dilapidated, much like these signs, and is in great need of restoration. I love big man signs, and there are 3 in Oklahoma City that just kill me. So the first sign here, the Cache America Pond, was originally constructed for the Joel Coley lumber yard, and he's got cash in his hand right now, but originally he had a hammer in his hand, and that sign was around until the 80s, maybe early 90s, when Cache America took over and took out the hammer and put money in his hands instead. The middle sign was originally a big giant supermarket sign, and it's in Southwest Oklahoma City, and it was founded by Don Fox, and it opened in 1959. The sign is 25 feet tall, and it dates back to when the store opened up. It closed in the 1990s, and the storefront became home to a paintball center and a nightclub over the years. And at one point, the sign, the man was painted black. But about 10 years ago, he was restored to his caveman-like appearance. Even though the building is completely vacant now, there's nothing there, but he stands out, and I just love him. He's so cute. The third sign is the Winchester Drive-In sign. There are 3 drive-in theaters left in central Oklahoma. One is the Beacon in Guthrie, one is the Chief in Chickasha, and then you have this wonderful Winchester sign in Oklahoma City. The drive-in was built in 1968 by the Chambord family, who owned several theaters throughout the state. It had a 400-car capacity, and the cowboy invites visitors to this day. As you can see, he's a motion sign. There aren't that many motion signs in Oklahoma anymore, but he waves to people saying, "Come on in here and have some popcorn and enjoy a movie." This picture of this sign I took in 2013 after a tornado had come through, and I went to check out the theater to make sure it was okay. It had sustained some damage, but Lindy Chambord, who's in his 80s now and still runs the theater in the summer, had it all picked up and ready to go in time for the summer season that year, and it still thrives today. So if you're in the mood for a drive-in movie theater, that's where you need to go see one. Also, there are several Native American themed signs in Oklahoma. These are 2 of my favorites. The Indian Lodge is in Wagoner by Fort Gibson Lake. And this motel is in perfect condition. Original owners, actually the son of the original owner has it now. I will say it went up for sale a couple weeks ago, so I'm kind of worried that a new owner may not take such great care of it, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it will happen. This motel and the sign were constructed in 1955, and really, if you kind of want that retro experience, this is probably the best example of that in Oklahoma as far as motels are concerned. The End of Trail Motel is in Broken Bow, right in the heart of town, right on the intersection of right at the intersection of two busy highways. I don't know exactly what year it was built. There's not a lot of information about this motel, but the sign does still light up at night and is in really beautiful condition. I love Googie. So in case, I'm sure all of you know what Googie is, but just in case you don't, it's the craziest angles and funky mid-century modern you can think of. Think Jetsons and you've got Googie. And for some reason, Googie signs like arrows. So most of these have some kind of arrow attached to them. The first one here is in Canute. Most people, Route 66 people, know the Cotton Bowl Motel, and this sign is not as well known, but it's in the same town and kind of across the street and down the way. Both the Cotton Bowl and this motel are private residences now, but luckily the owners have kept their iconic signs out for everybody to enjoy. The second sign is in Bartlesville, Travelers Motel. It also dates from the 1950s. A few years ago, the motel letters were replaced with plastic, and I don't like them, so I didn't put that picture in. I put the old one in. And anyway, I like that one too. Otherwise, the sign's in really good original condition except for the motel. The third one is the Oasis Motel here in Tulsa. I think if y'all are doing the neon tour, you'll probably see this one. It is one of my favorites in the state. It's very cool. It's on 11th Street. It was constructed in 1954 when the motel was opened, and it remains in excellent condition today. The next one is the Glancy in Clinton, also on Route 66. I took this shot about a year and a half ago. The motel has been really nicely restored. The sign has too. I don't know where the L was when I was there, but usually it's there. It was also designed in the 1950s and is in really great condition. I love the arrow. Then you've got the biomorphic shape with the Glancy on there, and it's a motor hotel. I mean, this one kind of has a little bit of everything, except for the Western Motel in Sayre. That one is certainly one of my favorite signs too. 1950s desert Western theme, which is perfect for a town kind of out in the middle of nowhere, also along Route 66. Okay. We're going to have a little recreation now. Another place that you're probably going to tour if you do the neon tour is the lovely Rose Bowl. It is the googiest thing around. It is so great. It was designed by OU student. He was also a student of Bruce Goff named Bill Ryan. He just died about a month ago. And the Rose Bowl is pretty spectacular. It's now a center for neglected kids, and they're trying to raise funds to restore the building. It's from 1961. It's pretty spectacular. Okay, this is my favorite, the Planet Bowl. Do you see the rocket on top of that? It's so awesome. This one just brings me joy every time I see it. It's such a great place. Hang on, I've got to switch my page. Let's see, it's in Midwest City, which probably is why the rocket is there, because Tinker Air Force Base is there and was constructed during World War II, and right after the war, Midwest City boomed, suburbia, and this place was built then. The building has changed quite a bit, but I'm really thrilled to say that the sign is very original and very beloved in Oklahoma City. It was built in 1960, actually. The third one is the Starlight Skating Center. That's in Sapulpa, which is just down the road a little bit, also on Route 66. The Starlight Skating Center opened in 1951, and this flying skate is from that era. The place sat vacant for quite a while, from 2002 till about 2011, and I was really worried about this sign. But luckily, a new skating rink opened a few years ago, and they have kept this sign. I think it's been painted since then. It looks a little bit more vibrant now. I don't think they have plans to restore the neon, but hey, I'm just glad to have a flying skate. It's very cute. Lots of good shops and stores with signs. The Moody's jewelry sign is here in Tulsa. It's also on Route 66. You'll probably see that on the tour. Oh, wait a minute. I flipped too soon. It was founded by Ernest Moody in 1944, and they moved to this location in the 1950s, and the sign dates to 1954. The same family still owns it, obviously. They love the sign. They take fabulous care of it. It is quite a spectacular sign. The O'Daniel's jewelry sign is in Muskogee. The jewelry company was established in 1930, and this sign dates probably from the 40s, I think, just by the type on it. It's really a beautiful sign too, and the diamond still lights up. The Home Savings and Loan Association is in Southwest Oklahoma City. This sign has been there since 1957, and it is all original too, and it does light up at night as well. It's been very well taken care of. The Sutherland Well Service is in Healdton. Now this isn't neon, but it is so crazy funky. I just love this sign so much with the type going over the really googie zigzag. It's a lot of fun. And you know, you gotta love a concrete block wall, right? So there's not a whole lot in Healdton, but this is on the outskirts, and it's definitely worth checking out. Arts Television is another treasure in Oklahoma City. The Arts Television obviously went away a long time ago. There have been several businesses in the building. It was vacant for several years. There's another company in there now. And thank goodness the owner of the building seems to appreciate the sign, because I know of a lot of friends who have offered to take it off of his hands, and he absolutely refuses. So it's still there hanging. It does not light up. All the neon is gone, but it's still there for all of us to enjoy. And who doesn't love a thunder and a TV? It just has everything. I think it's fantastic. The Phoenix Cleaner sign is here in Tulsa as well, so you will probably get to see that on the neon tour. It dates to the 1940s, and the current owner's great uncle designed it back then, and it was constructed by the Wally Wurr Sign Company, which I think might have been out of Tulsa. I'm not quite sure. 7 minutes, okay. So now we're gonna do some theaters. The Fran Roy sign, this first one is one of my very favorites in all of Oklahoma. It is in Snyder, Oklahoma, which is west, which is basically, in other words, in the middle of nowhere. I don't have a lot of information about this theater. It hasn't been a theater for a very long time. It was originally, I think, constructed. It was a hotel that was built in the 30s that was converted to a theater probably not too long after that. This is very deco sign, so I would say probably, 1940s. I'm assuming Fran and Roy might have been the owners, but I don't know. Don't have a lot of information. The Esquire Theater is in Hobart. And the theater originally opened in 1930 as the Rialto, and it was designed, I think, by Harold Gimeno, who also designed the Sooner Theater in Norman. It was renamed the Kiowa in 1936 and probably became the Esquire in the 1940s or early 1950s. The whole theater now is gutted, but thank goodness they still have the sign out. The Woodward sign is in Woodward, Oklahoma, and it is now, the theater closed in 1980. It was designed by Oklahoma City architect named Leonard Bailey, and it is now a performing arts center, and the group saved the sign and restored it partially. It does light up, and it's just a really pretty sign. Okay, this is kind of cool. So this is in what is now the it was the African American community in Oklahoma City, Northeast Oklahoma City, by OU Medical Center, if you guys are familiar with that. So Leora's was a beauty salon opened up in 1944 by Sadie Leora Hodge. And, as with most smaller communities, small towns, and obviously African-American communities, this place was kind of the hub for the girls. Everyone would go in there and share their gossip and hang out. It was such an important part of the community that in the 1960s it was a polling station. And Sadie Leora Hodge was so important to her community. In 1964, she was appointed to the Oklahoma Small Business Advisory Council, which was a pretty big thing for a woman and an African-American woman to boot. The council was comprised of successful small business owners to help other small businesses get started and thrive. So this is quite a historic building in the neighborhood. Unfortunately, they tore it down. The sign, I have no idea where the Leora's sign went to. But one day, I was just happened to be driving down that way, and I have my favorite buildings, and I have to check on them like a mother. And I drove by and saw the building they were starting to dismantle it. And I thought, okay, well, I have to take one last picture of the Leora's sign. And I snapped that and kind of walked around to the side of the building, and I saw the Coca-Cola Handy 6-box, which I had never even heard of before. And I just was astounded. I thought, oh my gosh, surely they're going to save this sign. This is so incredible to have uncovered this. There was 50 siding on the side of the building. But I realized very quickly that no, they didn't care about it. They just wanted to take the building down and replace it with nothing. It's a vacant lot now. So I went home right away, and I'm also involved in another group called Retro Metro OKC, which is a local historic organization. And I called some friends on that, and I said, hey, we got to get someone down there to save this sign because it's going to go in the trash heap if we don't. Within an hour, these people were vigilant. Within an hour, someone went down there to pick up the sign. By that time, just an hour after I had been there and taken this shot, it was all lying on the side of the road, the pieces of it, and it was about to be carted off. But he did save the sign. It's in storage, and I'm not sure what is going to ever happen with it, but it's safe for now. I think we're hoping that if someone opens a restaurant and has a big wall and, wants to use it, then they can. I did a little research on this after I found the sign, and I had never heard of the 6-box. I had never seen this color scheme before, and what I figured out was that it really was yellow, not orange. I guess they did the orange to make it stand out a little bit more. It was introduced in 1923, and within a couple of years, they changed the color scheme to the red and white we know today. So that was a great save. Okay, Glenn's Hickory Pit. This is also in Oklahoma City. This was probably the most popular smorgasbord of the 1960s. There were two. There was Glenn's Hickory, and then the Hickory Pit was kind of just, more of a lunch type spot. Glenn's, both of the places closed in 1980. There was a big fire in the bigger restaurant where the smorgasbord was, and that burned down to the ground. But for years, this Hickory Pit sign stayed up across the street. The picture on the left I took at about 19, God, I'm not that old yet. I am that old, but it wasn't that long ago. It was taken probably about 2010. At one point, Glenn's French, God, I got a minute. I got to hurry. Anyway, okay, sign came down. It was for sale, and someone bought it a few years ago, so that's what that is. Beverly's Pancake Corner. There were a lot of Beverlys around the state and beyond and overseas. Beverly Osborne franchised Beverly's, and most of them are gone now. There's only one left. This sign came down in 2008, and Talbot's was built there, but they saved the round part, and there's a Beverly's on Northwest Highway where that is now located. charcoal oven came down in 2016, and it was an icon built in 1959. This sign was saved, and it's in storage. Oasis Drive-In was along Route 66 in El Reno. Originally, it had 2 tall palm trees and was a very popular lunch drive-in place for kids and travelers along Route 66. In 2009, a big storm came through and toppled the sign over. It had been restored at one point in 2004, and they promised that they were going to try to restore it, and it never happened. So the building's gone, and the sign is gone now. Here are some Route 66 motel signs that are gone, pretty much. The Carlisle Motel was in along Northwest 39th in Oklahoma City. That sign came down a few years ago, and the buyer cut it up and sold it, sold different pieces on eBay. The couch, one photo down there, was part of the sign, so it's been all cut up and gone. The Arcadia Motel was around until the early 2000s. A used car dealership and mechanic bought it and tried to keep as much of the sign as he could, even though he kind of botched it up. And over the years, the arrow was gone. Almost everything about this sign is gone now, unfortunately. Okay, we're going to talk about one of Oklahoma City's iconic sign makers. He really is fantastic, and I'm going to go real fast. Mac Teague was a sign designer extraordinaire. He was an art student, and he was working at Tinker Air Force Base. And this was right after the war, and he needed extra money and decided to be a sign painter. That led to him becoming a sign designer, and soon he was not working at Tinker anymore and not in college anymore, and he was designing signs full time. These are just a few of the signs that he did. The Tahoma Motel was in Lawton. There was a Trade Winds in Oklahoma City. There was also one here in Tulsa. The Stevens Cleaners sign was in Oklahoma City, and the Lee's Used Cars sign was also in Oklahoma City. I believe all these signs are gone. He also did, how googly are these? I mean, are these fantastic? They're so great. All these were in Oklahoma City as well, as far as I know, and sadly, they are all gone too. There are a few Mac Teague survivors. The Classen Inn is in Oklahoma City. It recently went up for sale, and for not a horrible amount of money in a very trendy part of town. So I'm hoping the buyer will keep this very cool 50s motel and keep the sign there as well. You saw the Joel Coley sign earlier. That is a Mac Teague design. Okay, the black and white picture is really terrible, but it's all I had. Originally, this is in Southwest Oklahoma City. There was a Park Terrace movie theater. It closed in the late 80s, and it's been in various clubs since then, but luckily all of the clubs have kept the sign and incorporated their name into it. And that's what Cowboys is. That's the sign today. More survivors by Mac Teague. Drexel Cleaners. The one on this first one is what it looked like originally. I took the Drexel Cleaners sign photo in about 2008, but by 2010, a new buyer had it and mucked it up pretty well, huh? At least it's still there. It could be restored. The Dorothy Kreiner barbecue sign was in Southwest Oklahoma City. Apparently, he did several variations of this sign, and I just recently found one, that bottom one, in Southwest Oklahoma City. Needs a few balls replaced, but otherwise, I mean, it could be repurposed and restored and look very fun and funky again. Skateland sign is in Norman. It has been around since the 1950s. In about 2006, a new skating rink opened there, and they kept the sign but just changed the lettering, which is terrible. They should have kept Skateland. Del Rancho, Mac Teague designed several of the Del Rancho signs, as you can see here. Restored and good as new. You'll probably learn more about the Meadow Gold sign later on. It's along Route 66. And in 2004, the owner of the building on which it stood wanted to take the building down and also dismantle the sign. But the Tulsa Foundation for Architecture was able to get it saved, store it. A new building was purchased, or a new site was purchased, a building was constructed, and now it sits atop there. Since I took this picture, there are now 2 clocks that were added in 2016 to finish out the sign. It's pretty great, and you'll see it. Tower Theater, that sign was dark for about 30 years, and it was restored a couple of years ago, too, and it is pretty fantastic. It's along Route 66, Northwest 23rd. 66 Bowl sign was in Oklahoma City along Route 66, taken down in 2010, and now it is up in Chandler, Oklahoma. More signs that have been restored. The Rancho Grande is here in Tulsa. VFW Club is in Sapulpa. The Drum Room is Oklahoma City. Sunshine Cleaners, Oklahoma City. And Yukon Best is along Route 66 in Yukon. We have a lot of new signs going up, which I'm very excited about. These are all in Oklahoma City. One thing that Tulsa has done is Amanda here? Hi, Amanda. She is our hero. She has, and some other people, Tulsa Foundation for Architecture, have have gotten legislation passed to where new signs can go up along Route 66 in and around Tulsa. I'm hoping that that will extend to Oklahoma City and other areas as well. I'm sure you're going to talk about that, right? Okay, she'll talk to you about that. There are also several sign collections in Oklahoma. One is the Stokely's Event Center here in Tulsa. The Billboard Museum is, they want to have a museum in Oklahoma City. I've been hearing talk about that, Bethany, but recently I heard that they might be putting it up someplace else. Muscle Car Ranch in Chickasha has a lot of great signs. And then in Chandler, where the 66 Bowl sign is, the owner of that sign is building a recreation facility, and he's got the It'll Do Motel from the movie Twister, so he's got lots of signs inside as well. Resources, if you want to learn more about signs, these are some great books. As you can see on the middle image, Signs, Streets, and Storefronts by Martin True. One of Mac Teague's signs, the Dorothy Kreiner sign, is on the cover of that one. And that's it. I zoomed as fast as I could.